Hi, James. Long time no see.
It's been so long. I've missed you.
I know. It's been
Two
like
days,
a whole 2 days.
under 48, under 48 hours.
Oh my God.
Where
I
are
can't believe,
you? You're
doesn't
meant
it
to
feel?
be here.
I know. Jess was in a world of her own and she was just daydreaming and just drove home instead of going to James's house. And James calls Jess and he's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." I had
It's
kept
all
it
good.
starving.
It's been a crazy day, hasn't it? Like the
Crazy.
last couple of days with like the crazy kind of weather.
Oh my
Like
God,
literally
James.
tonight at five o'clock, it came over and it was literally like
It was
all
like
the movies,
midnight.
like all the scary movies. It
Yeah.
just crept in, and then I was just like, "Oh my god, it's like, what's it called? Um, Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz." I
That's
was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be a tornado, and we're just gonna die.
yeah,
Like this is gonna be it."
yeah.
The wind was billowing. I went dark as, and then the power went out, and we're like, "Holy shit!" So we're just in the dark, and then there was a little tick, 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 and then the power came back on, and then the printer went, and then the door flew open, and we're just like, "Oh my god!"
It was insane. Yeah. I was I was
Oh,
working and there's like I'm like in the corner where the big glass is. And you could
I
just
saw
see it like
it.
I stopped
Yeah,
talking like with the customer and I'm like, what the hell? It's like midnight. And then boom, I saw like the lightning striking. And then the rain went crazy. And yeah, people were complaining about power, but my building still had power. Crazy.
awesome.
Just insane what's happening. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life either.
So then I was coming home, like we waited for it, and then we went home. And then I was coming home, and guess what?
What? What happened?
I was like, oh, I don't want to go Monash. I don't want to go Monash. So I went Monash. And guess what happened on the Monash?
There was a crash.
Traffic galore
Oh
because
no.
of the bloody roadworks. And then guess what? My fuel is going down to empty. I had to get off at Springvale Road. And lucky there was a petrol station because I literally rolled into it. It was the funniest story ever. Rolled into it. Luckily, you know when you can feel your car like trembling?
100%. That's the worst. Like I do that all the time. I go on like one bar and then I'm like panicking on a freeway. And then the petrol shed where whenever I get off, like I'm like, where's the petrol? Yeah.
And I was worried because the traffic was so bad. I'm like, oh my God, 1.5 Ks to like Springvale Road. And we're like
Oh,
crawl.
it's
The
just
car's like,
insane.
yeah.
It's just those two lanes that they've like shut down. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's just
I
mental.
went Beach Road last night, which was a lot nicer.
Which road?
But Beach Road.
Oh, okay.
And then I went all the way almost home. And I was literally about 500 meters, probably, no, actually about a K, well, 900 meters. And
Mm.
I was on Clarendon Street. And the traffic was so brutal that I literally pulled over, parked my car, and just walked.
Oh my God. What the
Because I
hell?
like I moved like about how much? I moved about like 700 meters in 30 minutes. I
Mm.
was just like, I'm just pulling over because
Stuff
it
this.
wasn't getting any better. I was just like, stuff this. I walk back to my apartment. So I did.
Yeah.
Which ain't that far. It wasn't that far. It was like took me about like 10 minutes to walk back.
Oh
I
my
was just like,
God.
I'm just over it. Like, get you know when you just like I'm reaching boiling point. I'm like, I
Yeah.
needed to go to the toilet. Well, I'm just like, I'm just pulling over
Yeah.
out of this.
Reach a point.
Yeah.
That's it. Even like
Yeah.
this morning, I drove to work and I was just like, it was just a nightmare. I even went past like park, like where you are. And I was just like, this is just ridiculous. I was just trying to avoid like all the road
Yeah,
works. And
so
I
how
think
much
me doing
traffic
that,
was in.
I think
And
me
then
doing
it
that
was
was made it worse. Like, just insane. People are nuts too.
yeah, so many people haven't been on the road for ages, so they're just like,
Yeah.
like so many people beefing. I was just like, oh god.
Yeah. This guy, like,
Yeah.
this morning jumped on the tram tracks and then went back into my lane and then jumped on the tram tracks. I'm like, what's the point of you doing that? Like, everyone wants to like go, but you doing that is like delaying us more.
I saw this car and it literally like was pissed off at me. So it went around, back through 3 lanes, back over 4 lanes. And I was like, this person's literally driving like a mad person, like zigzagging like across like 4 lanes.
Oh my
And I was
God.
just like, oh wow. I was like, oh wow, you've achieved one further spot in front of
I
me.
know.
Like wow.
It's just so dumb. You get those people that speed up and then hit the brakes at the lights. Like, well done. You've just wasted more petrol by you speeding up and then braking.
I know.
So
Yeah, it's mental. So, such a good topic. You thought of this one this week.
I love this one. And I had a bit of like deja vu. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
let's just
I
dive
just
straight
like,
into it.
I'm going to mention like, it's funny because I pitched the idea to you and you loved it. And then I had a customer on the phone, and without me even talking about the subject, he started telling me all of this herbal remedies, this, that, and everything. I'm like, wow. So I wrote it all down, and it's like 3 dot points here. But I thought like also to talk about bush remedies, for Aussies, what you can find in the bush, like Aboriginal remedies and then just normal natural remedies.
Love this. Such a good topic.
Such a good topic. And what do you have,
So,
James? Do you have anything?
I just have more like personal experiences, like what's helped me in terms of remedies.
I love it. Did you want to kick
Um,
off?
so if you want, I'll go first because I don't really have that much content.
I
So
doubt that. Fire
yeah,
away. It'll be the entire podcast, I'm telling you.
no way. So in terms of like a remedy I've always had has been my exploration with teas. So
Mm,
different teas are really good for different moods
mm,
and enhancing that. So green tea is a really good type of tea in order to, because it's caffeine content, to really energize you and pump you up and to really get you focused on a situation. And yeah, I just find it as a very stimulating kind of tea. Whereas a chamomile tea, which I love, is more a tea which calms you down, mellows you out, and kind of gets you into a not so much a sleepy state, I would say a relaxation kind of mode, which I find really creative and positive, helps my anxiety if I'm anxious or stressed. It's kind of just a relaxing kind of meditative thing. So I find that really beneficial um, whenever I'm stressed. I really like to have a chamomile tea. It really just forces me to, I guess, get in touch,
mm.
relaxes me, catch my breath and all that. And then if I need a pick me up or a perk, it's very much a green tea is kind of what I go to in terms of that. Hibiscus is a very fun kind of tea for me. It really is also a kind of zenny kind of tea though. So it creates a little bit of like a peacefulness, but also a bit of funness. I kind of find I get a bit silly after a hibiscus.
Bit
Yeah.
like a goose.
Yeah. So another one I tend to do is crystals. So different crystals have different influences and whatnot. So at the moment, I've basically got aquamarine, which I wear around me, and it basically sits near my heart, and it's a protection stone against any water kind of energy, and also gets you in touch with your emotions and being able to speak and verbalize your truth in terms of your throat chakra. So I've really enjoyed having that crystal. I'm probably going to buy another crystal, probably I think is it citrine?
Oh yeah, I have that. It's good.
Yeah,
I
so
have
the
that in
orange.
clear quartz. Seem to be
Yeah.
for like just for clearing your mind, calming you
Mm.
down.
Yeah, so citrine I want to get as my next one, an orange citrine one.
Oh, so true. Your favorite color.
Yeah, and also just in terms of just um helping my trying to think what chakra it is. My root
Um,
chakra, I think it is. I
I
think
don't
it's
think
my
it's the
root
heart.
chakra.
It's not the throat. It's not the head. Yeah,
No.
maybe.
Yeah, it's the one below that. Anyway, so that one is what I'm going to get next. So crystals is another way of that I use as remedies. Another one is obviously honey, lemon, and water. I always use that one in terms of when I'm a bit run down and I need a bit of a vitamin C boost, and a little bit of honey to, help a sore throat or anything like that. That's something that I go to. I really try and use herbs. That's also another type of remedy that I try and use in terms of cooking. So herbs are very high in a lot of the minerals that we need in our bodies to heal ourselves. So it's very good to use rosemary and stuff, to use oregano, and just to really, I guess, mix it up with paprika, all the different types of things, chilies, dried chili flakes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just really like that. And like natural herbs in the garden, like lemon, thyme, they enhance the flavor of the dish, and they also are, helping give you stuff that you don't really think about, a lot of the minerals that kind of escape your mind, and then they've actually escaped my mind right now, which ones they're
Yeah.
high in for each of them. But that's one of the things that I do. Another thing is obviously just water and the quality of water, which we've talked about plenty of times on this podcast.
Mm.
So this brand, which is Australian, that comes from a spring, and it's in a glass bottle, which saves on plastic use and single plastic use, especially for water bottles, is one of the highest, most pollutant kind of things you can possibly do. So stop buying plastic water bottles, and if you're going to buy water, buy it at least in a glass and buy it locally. So that's the one that I do buy in a glass and buy it locally. So yeah, that's kind of what I do for myself. I'm just trying to think of any other things. Another thing I think is that, when you have cravings for food, I very think that's your body and your mind's way of telling you what you're craving, and what could be beneficial to you. So I think very much listen to what your body is telling you, and often that requires you to slow down and to shut the hell up, and just to let intuition kind of guide you, especially when sometimes you're at a market and you're just like, oh, I want watermelon, and
Yeah.
it's just so random. It's just like, what?
Where did that
But
come from? Yeah.
yeah, but like obviously maybe you're craving, the pigment that makes it go red, and it's really good for stopping inflammation and all that kind of stuff. So you crave different things for different reasons. I think listen to that kind of thing. And the best way to listen to it is to let impulse and intuition kind of guide you. I'm trying to think, I had one other thing to say in terms of remedies as well. Oh, one I find as well is when I'm super sick, I find that laying on grass or laying near trees and plants and getting grounded really is beneficial to myself. Even when I've got like back pain or whatnot, I find just laying, flat on the grass and actually just being connected to the earth is a really good way of, you know, I guess, centering your energy, grounding yourself,
Mm.
And yeah, just getting in touch, I guess, with nature is a really beneficial way of doing it. I like to take off my shoes as well and be barefoot. I find that really helps. Sometimes when I've been really sick, when I've had way too much alcohol and to drink, I will lay pretty much my chest on the grass, even when it's cold, to cool myself down and to make myself feel better. I guess it's like also they say it has an influence on grounding your electricity in your body or something. You get your earth from earth. Yeah.
Yeah, you just connect
Yeah.
with nature.
Yeah.
I find that when I
So,
wander around and do my drives here, there, and everywhere, it's just something about it. Something
and
so
yoga.
calming and natural, and
So
yeah.
you take the floor now. That's me all done.
Oh, I loved it, James. It's so true. You forget the basics, you know?
Yeah.
And I like that. I agree with the crystals 110% and the nature, all of it. I love it. But yeah, I just so I have 3 different sections here. But
Yep.
yeah, this is what the customer told me, just something random. And then I looked at it and I was like, wow. So these are all natural remedies. Yeah.
Okay.
So number 1, and you can buy it from the Chemist Warehouse, this one apparently. It's called Thompson's Astrofort. So it's formulated with something called astragalus, which has traditionally been used in Chinese medicine to support a healthy immune system. So manage mild upper respiratory tract infections, help relieve symptoms of coughs and colds. It's also a tonic for your, oh no, it's to, yeah, for your lungs as well, and to help maintain general well-being. So I remember when the customer came through, he told me you just take 1, it's like a little, pour it in a little container, take 1 and you feel great. Because there was the day that I was really bad with hay fever and he could hear it in my voice. He's like, why don't you take this? And I'm like, what is this? But yeah, heaps of cultures, like Chinese medicine, speaks for itself. I think throughout time, we all know Chinese medicine is the bomb. So I thought that was really cool. It's about $25 at the Chemist Warehouse. And just a disclaimer, we should have said that at the start of the podcast, that before
Yeah,
you
we
take all of this into consideration, consult your healthcare professional, or do your own research before you consume or do any of this stuff.
Can I just add one further point to that? I read a really great article today that talked about how important it is to have such a good relationship with your doctor and to go to your doctor not only in bad times, but in good times.
Yeah.
And create a friendship, and how important friendships play in the role in our mental health, our physical health in life. When we have good friendships, they say it's actually stronger than family. And I was like, oh, wow. And
Yeah.
they say because it's not what's the word? It's chosen. It's not with families, it's a
Yeah.
lot of obligation and rules and
You can't
procedures
choose them,
where
you can't chuck them out. Yeah. 100%.
yeah,
No, I agree with that. It's a good one. But yes, do your research before you consume. I like that actually.
we're not
Even in good
health,
times and
yeah,
bad.
we're not health professionals. So yeah, just go visit your doctors, and you can always go have a checkup and just be, develop a friendship. Yeah.
Why not? That was number 1. And then there's this other one called Gumby Gumby. So that is traditionally used as bush medicine. And I was like, Gumby Gumby on the phone. And he's like, yeah, you need to look into it. So Gumby Gumby leaves contain an antiviral properties that help alleviate the symptoms of colds, flus, and chest infections. And it contains native mints, where remedies for coughs and colds, like I said, while the gum from the gum trees as well, which is in this collection of leaves and herbs. So the gum from gum trees, which is a rich in tantum, it's called, which is used for burns. All right. So the green plum also is involved in this and is enormously rich in vitamins. So it's really good for your health. And I actually researched this online. Like after I got off the phone, all of these things, I'm like, you can get them by like half a kilo or a kilo. But yeah, it's good to actually drink every once in a while as a pick-me-up. And then there's this other one called Mistletoe Herb. So we all know kissing under the mistletoe, but did you know that mistletoe is a semi-paras, oh, I can't say it, parasitic plant? That's the one. Yeah. That
It's really
grows,
parasites.
yeah.
Yeah.
That grows on trees such as apple, oak, maple, elm, pine, and birch. It has been used for hundreds of years. Who would have thought, right? So some people use European mistletoe for treating mental and physical exhaustion. So instead of, knocking back a coffee or two, what about this? And to reduce side effects, apparently there's a number of side effects, but if you consume heaps, of course, like everything, it requires balance. But to reduce the side effects of chemotherapy and radiation therapy as well, it acts as a tranquilizer. And for treating the whooping cough, I've heard that before, it's shocking, like when you hear kids with that. Asthma, dizziness, diarrhea, liver and gallbladder conditions as well. So it's a lot of properties. And again, like it comes in the kilo or half a kilo, 500 grams, really good. So that's what the customer told me. And I also wanted to chuck in some like bush remedies because we're in Australia and it's interesting.
Absolutely. Let's get straight into those, Jess.
No.
I'm excited for those.
So there's something called, there's heaps here, but just in a nutshell, North Coast Wattle. So it's
North
about
Coast Wattle.
Wattle. So it's a small tree about, huh?
I'm allergic to wattles.
So besides James, if you're not allergic, it's like a 7-meter tree apparently with yellow flowers. Yeah, it's shocking during asthma season and hay fever season. It's a pain in the neck, but they always have them at schools too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently, if you with an infusion of water and you crush the flowers, it can like treat sore eyes.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I have, so again, coughs and colds. There's something called a red wattle. And apparently this is so good. Flowers, so it's kind of like a cluster of yellow balls, sort of a thing, right? So again, with an infusion of water, this was made with the stems and the branches, which apparently can be dunked and bathed for, like, you can dunk it in the water and it can be really good for coughs and colds. And then this one I found interesting. There's something called a pukati. It's kind of like a bush with yellow bulbs, but it's kind of like on a stem with like ball like yellow flowers, like a cluster of flowers.
Okay.
And apparently the ash from the top branches was mixed with, it can be chewed apparently. And that ash from that releases a sort of chemical which can be like used instead of tobacco. And it has enhancing side effects. I thought that was cool.
That is cool.
Chuck a few in there. What else do we have?
Just market that one.
I know. I have this at home and it's always the go-to indoor plant, but if anyone's heard of maidenhair fans, it's like the little fans. Yeah, maidenhair. Like I'm sure if I showed you a picture, you'll know, but it's really pretty. It's like little like leaves attached to the branch and it's really used for indoor plants. But apparently it's prepared if you, what does it say? It's here, but it doesn't actually give me the reason of why it's here. That's great. A soothing infusion is prepared with 1 to 5 parts. I don't know what this is for. Anyways, skip. But
Aloe Vera?
Aloe Vera is a good one as well for cuts. A lot of soothing. I
Also, another
remember,
really good one is Bepanthen.
what's that for?
Like you usually give it to babies for like nappy rashes and all that kind of stuff. But it's also great in terms of like scarring or anything like that to put onto your skin. It's really good in terms of just stopping scarring and stuff.
That's nuts. How much that we have actually in our backyard, we just don't know. Even this was like something I found on TikTok, the actual dandelions that we find in the backyard. The root of a dandelion is apparently really good for heart conditions. So like the arteries, like attached to your heart. And apparently it's used to strengthen that, like to strengthen arteries. Like who the hell would have thought? And it's funny because when I went to Woolworths because I always get those like $2 tea, like Twinings or something because they're cheap. I noticed on the top shelf they had dandelion root like herb tea. And I was like, oh wow, it's like coming into the culture now. Yeah. And just your regular, like you mentioned honey before. Honey's good. Peppermint. Did you mention peppermint?
No.
So just mint in general has been used for hundreds of years. Peppermint oil might help with irritable bowel syndrome, a long-term condition that can cause cramps, bloating, gas, diarrhea, and constipation, and also can be used for headaches. I have my little diffuser and it's got peppermint oil. And whenever I like come home from a stressful day, it's perfect. I bump that baby up. I don't put just 1 or 2. I put like 5 or 6 drops. And I'm like, so relaxing.
No.
But honey's here. Turmeric as well. So the spice has been hyped up. It's really good for your digestion. My parents always told me that growing up. Turmeric, it's expensive, but it's good for your digestion. No, that's saffron. And turmeric, same thing. Completely different, but same thing. And apparently it can help with arthritis, and it can help with if you have a fatty liver. It can help with healing ulcers, help with skin rashes. It's just brilliant. But high doses can cause digestive problems. So again, balance is key. And
I think that's everything,
yeah,
really. It's just like too much of a good thing can be harmful.
100%. And like I have ginger, which is again has been used for thousands of years in Asian medicine to treat stomach aches, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, cramps, you name it, heartburn, diarrhea, gas, all of it. Tastes like crap, but whenever I have ginger tea, I always feel good afterwards.
I love ginger ale and ginger beer.
Nice. Ginger beer is really good. I like ginger beer. The next one is sex, but we won't get into that. Everyone knows, that the stalk does not come down from wherever it comes down in order to make things happen. But apparently it's good for your heart, among other things.
Health.
Yeah. Green tea, garlic, blood pressure, reduces blood pressure. Chicken soup. It comes down to the basics, isn't it? When you're like, my mum makes me chicken soup when I'm sick and I feel better afterwards. But if you're vegan, pea soup, I guess. Vegetable soup, pea soup. Vegetable soup, heaps of antioxidants to get you up and running.
Yeah.
Apparently cinnamon's good for diabetes. The list goes on and on, really. But I like this topic. I really liked it.
Me too. It went so quick.
It did. I think because we're passionate. Nice. Anything else you wanted to say?
No, just in terms of just again interact was basically retelling everyone that hey, we're not health professions. We're just giving some examples, some stuff that we've done. Also, obviously, apple cider vinegar I've used. There's heaps of different things I've tried. I've tried like, I think it's like, I can't even remember the name of it, but it's basically grinded up kind of like bone broth, etc.,
Yeah.
etc., all that kind of stuff. There's all different stuff that people have used that they claim is thing, but everyone's different. So let's remember that we're not health professionals. There's people who've studied a lot of things, and
Do your own
go
research.
and go see health professionals, and everyone's got a different you know background, a different method of how they treat people. So just, obviously go see your professional, seek advice, seek knowledge, and develop a good conversation where you can tell them what's working for you and what's not working for you.
Perfect. And on that note, you have a lovely night, James.
You have a lovely night, Jess, too.
Thank you. Bye.
No, bye.